Hello, Body by Jesus Nation. How y'all doing? It's been a minute. The Lord's been getting on me about getting back on this platform to speak and talk about what he's telling me. So anyway, I'm gonna make a long story short. We're not gonna be on here too long. Just probably about 10 minutes at the most, probably 15. I don't know, 10, 15. But anyway, the topic is foolishness. The foolery. The foolery, y'all. So these past 6 months, I've been doing what the Lord called me to do. I've been at different churches. And I tell you, the foolishness I see in some of God's houses is just ridiculous. It's foolery. Just straight up foolery. So anyway, I was in my Bible study one day, and I'm just like, Lord, the foolishness in your houses, in your house. These are your churches. These are your houses. The foolishness. So anyway, I'm reading, y'all, and I'm in Job. I'm in the book of Job, and I get to, I'm in chapter 42, and I had just got done reading about, Job was complaining and everything, and God was questioning him. Like, okay, you done talking? Now you answer me these things. So I just got done reading chapter 41, and I got to 42. And I got to verse 7. And it says, and so it was, after the Lord had spoken these words to Job, that the Lord said to Eliphaz, the Temanite, my wrath is aroused against you and your two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. Now therefore take for yourselves 7 bulls, 7 rams, and 7 rams. Go to my servant Job and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you, for I will accept him, lest I deal with you according to your folly, because you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. So I read that and I said, wait a minute, hold up, folly. I said, folly? I said, oh, wait a minute, that's foolishness. So I looked it up, y'all, just to make sure, and it's foolishness. So basically God is saying to Job's 3 friends, what was that? Eliphaz, I wrote some notes, Eliphaz, Zophar, and Bildad. Those his 3 friends now. And he's talking to Eliphaz. The Lord said, you and your 2 friends, I'm hot with you. You have not represented me correctly in front of my servant Job. You haven't represented me correctly. So I tell you what you're going to do. You need to get 7 rams and 7 bulls and go to Job and take them to him, and he'll pray for you. So basically Job had to intercede for him. And he said, do this, lest I deal with your folly, which is foolishness. So I said, Lord, you're so awesome. You so awesome. Here I am. I'm talking about foolishness up in your church. And here, look at here. I'm reading about it right here. And you know, he's a merciful God and he's a loving God. But at the same time, he was getting ready to deal with the foolishness. He wasn't waiting several months down the road, not even a couple of weeks down the road, not even a couple hours. Look at here. He was going to deal with that foolishness offhand. Now, granted, we got 42 chapters in the book of Job, so there was a lot of discussion going on and a lot of accusations that his friends were making of him. I mean, they started off right. They started off coming to comfort Job because Job didn't understand. Look, why am I going through all this? I'm losing everything, my health, my wealth, my children, my family. Lord, what have I done? And he didn't understand that it was a test because the enemy, Satan, was accusing Job and coming after Job's character. That's what he was doing. And Job knew that God knew that Job had good character, and he knew Job's heart. He knew Job's heart towards him. So it was a test. And Job didn't know that, of course. But during the whole trial and tribulation, Job didn't let go of God. He didn't let go of him. He had some words to say, and he was wishing that he wasn't born, but he never let go. And then here come his three friends who, at the beginning, okay, it's cool. They come to check on him, and that was good. And then they wept when they saw him because Job was in bad condition. His health was gone, everything. And they wept, and they sat there for 7 days and 7 nights, and they didn't say nothing because they saw Job was in a lot of grief. They didn't say nothing, and that was cool, just being there. Just being there. That was enough. But then they had to open their mouth. Trying to figure things out. Thinking they know what they're talking about, and they didn't. Accusing Job of sin. And then not representing God correctly. Why they running their mouth to Job. So by the end of this chapter, when I was reading this, because I really had just gone to chapter 42. I had read 41 when God was finishing up talking to Job and asking him, can you draw out Leviathan with a hook? And just asking Job all these questions. You're talking to me and you're saying all these things to me, Job, but where were you when I did such and such and such and such? Y'all go ahead and read those chapters. Job is a long book. So you can go ahead and read all what God was saying and what Job was saying to the Lord and what Job's three friends were saying to him. But in a nutshell, what was troubling in my heart was the foolishness that I was seeing in God's church and how God dealt with the foolishness right off the bat. He didn't let things tarry. Now, granted, there's some things going on in the church now God getting ready to handle, okay? He getting ready to handle it, and he's let it tarry for a little bit. But the purpose is the judgment is to put the H back in holy and the F back in fear in his house, in his church, in his people. Because if you had a holy fear, the holy fear that was in the Acts church, oh my goodness, a lot of this foolishness wouldn't be going on, period. But at the end of the day, he's a loving and he's a merciful God. But he's going to deal with the foolishness. At the end of the day, he's going to deal with the foolishness. I got much love, and I understand none of us are perfect. I get that, and I understand that. But if you truly love God, if you have his heart, and truly love him and truly fear him, some of these things that we see going on would not even be happening. But at the end of the day, we got to have much love for people and intercede and pray. Just like Job had to intercede and pray for his three friends. But their foolishness, we have to pray and intercede as well for people and the foolishness. So at the end of the day, people, I told you I wasn't going to be on here long. Job chapter 42, verses 7 through 10 is where I was coming from. So there's a lot more I can say on this, but I'll say it later. I said I wasn't going to be on here too long, maybe about 10 minutes at the most. I've been gone for a while, but I'm going to be speaking up because the Lord's given me a lot of things to say, which I haven't been saying. I just been kind of sitting, just chilling for a little bit, but no more chilling because he's like, say what I tell you to say. It's time. You're out of time. Just say it. To the remnant out there, look at here. God gonna give you some words, and you know it's gonna go against the grain. Come on now, because there's some stuff you see is just flat out just wrong. Just flat out wrong. And we can no longer sit by and just sit there with your head in the sand and act like you don't see it. Because these are the last days, and there's a lot coming. People got to wake up. And we have to sound the alarm. So, much love to y'all. I thank you for the encouragers. Y'all know who y'all are. My circle, y'all know who y'all are, and I got much love for you, and thank you for the encouragement. It's been a little tough sometimes lately, but, God is right there. I thank you for the encouragement, the love, and stay real. I love you. Until next time. Peace.